So you mentioned MST and a few other environments. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. Well, all build related to Epic happens in a specific environment, and that's because a lot of different people involved in the project are using different, tool sets or need to accomplish different things in their jobs as it relates to Epic. So the analysts, for instance, they complete their build and they do the changes that they're making initially in an environment called POC, which stands for Proof of Concept. So they'll do their build there, and it moves along the path to a testing environment to make sure what they've built is working and isn't breaking anything else. And then it moves along to prod, or production, which is also known as the live environment. And this is where end users see the end result of what everyone is working on.
So how does this data move from POC to TST?
There's a tool set and a process within Epic and around Epic called Data Courier, which is what the analysts primarily use to move different changes from environment to environment in a systematic way.
So I see MST on there. How does that ultimately end up for what we see in training?
Yeah. So what happens is the changes that are made by the analysts that ultimately are intended to go to the live production environment are taken typically from the test environment and moved into the master train environment so that the trainers can take those changes into account in the curriculum and the system for the end user training. What happens from there is some refresh and patient preparation, and then what the credentialed trainers use are the actual training environments, which is what you will log into and what your end user students will log into from a training perspective. There's one other environment called Play, or the playground environment, which is where people can practice and play around and get used to the system outside of the live environment scenario.